let's start there. The 30-day challenge, which I do every once a year, where I listen to African podcasters for the purpose of connections and the purpose of getting to know them and probably just you know uh, having a chit chat with some of them. And it also opens up your mind to seeing what's out there in terms of the African podcasters. And this has been one of the toughest ones. Well, I only did one. The second one this year was really tough because I fell sick, and after falling sick, I had to go and get help, and it was kind of tough. But did it. I kept on going. Now it's all about putting the podcast out there and reviewing them. But I managed to do it. What we are going on currently is we have done as a Sambaza podcast. I was grateful, I'm grateful, and I was fortunate enough to get down to New Orleans and witness what they call Super Sunday. This is an event that happens once a year, and it's with Indians. Now, when you say Indians, people kind of wonder, what are you talking about? What Indians? Well, these are Black Indians, and I was in in a home of one of the chiefs, and we had a conversation, and he explained what the whole thing about the Indians is, and it was a great conversation, and we're going to record, and it's coming out. Another thing I did is this month we had a talk with the African think tank. Now, the African think tank is a group where they talk. They are professionals, and they are also people of all walks of life. And if you feel like you want to be part of the team, anybody can join in. What they do is they have this great program where we meet up and we have conversations about anything that's to do with the diaspora and in the US and how it connects with each other. It is a great group of people. I have enjoyed so far all the time that we have been together with them. And man, I can tell you, it's been so much fun. It's been so much fun. I can't imagine any other group that I could have met and hung out with them this much. They did they did a podcast live conversation where we talked about how we can integrate ourselves between the Africans, Afro Caribbeans, and African Americans. That was about a 40-minute conversation, and it was quite revealing. There was a lot of conversation after that, and we talked about how we can have it over again and dive more deep into the subject, because it was a subject that people could relate to, and people had questions, people had comments. And so I think maybe we may be able to do that. Hopefully, if it's there, it'll come up. One thing I also say is we also had see the June, not Juneteenth, but there was the Black History Month. Sambaza Podcast also did something on that Black History Month. This is a late conversation, so we did it Black History Month, and I was with the Forney community, and we went and talked about Black history. I try to engage conversations, and it was a three. I had two guests, and I was there being the moderator, and it was fun. So I'm really enjoying my conversations with the people that I hang out with and I talk to and have conversations with. The Sambaza podcast has been doing great. I have been with this partnership with the Jen of Work by Accident, and she has been phenomenal. We have, recorded so many conversations and invited so many people, and we have, you know, uh, gotten to enjoy coming together and working as a team. And I really want to say I've had a good time, especially this particular month when we're doing Black History Month, because on this particular Black History session, or this month when we did our 4 episodes, the theme was you bring in a presentation and people, each one of us brings a presentation, and we talk about somebody that is not listed as a common person that you would see on the normal day-to-day activities. You know who I'm talking about. The light bulb, the chips, the washing machine. Those are things or components that people are told about every day. So we had to dig deeper and search more further to find people who are actually this in this thing, where you know uh, people go like, "Wow, this is what has happened," or "This is what was there." And one thing particular, which I'm always fascinated, is up to this time we were talking about first African American to get to do something. That in itself is an amazement, but it's also something that breaks my heart, because to me, I think we should be talking about the fifth or sixth or seventh, you know, African American to do a discovery or run a particular thing where we are we are further than what we should have been, and not breaking barriers right now. We should be moving to change the barriers or change the height of the ceiling, so to speak. Instead of being that entry level, we should be up um, to a bigger scale. But at least we're in the building now. And now we know what's going on in the building, and we can move further. So better late than never. The journey begins with the first step, as the Chinese proverb says. So that's my rundown. Oh, and one more thing: the Ghana professionals did an event last weekend, and it was in this library, not library, but this bookstore that has African. It has African stuff. I think it's an Afro American bookstore which has a lot of African stuff, a lot of African products. All these are sourced from Africa. I mean, if you go look at the pictures that I have on my um on my web page, that is, not the web page, but my Facebook, and you will see what was going on there. I have some bit of clips. Hey, um, CapCut got you ready. So if you're a user of CapCut, make use of it. It produces great short clips. But I did record some short clips. I might, if I have time, because I am a solo uh, podcaster. So there's a lot of stuff that I have to do by myself. So between recording and arranging stuff and posting and doing all that, that takes time. So I'm a bit behind, but we should be able to get up to date on that. If you have noticed, every Mondays there is a podcast Podfest in January. So they're still going on. I'm still putting them up. It's one at a time. I didn't realize that and I'm like, wow, we had about 12 conversations. That's 12 weeks of conversations, and these were short 5 to 10 minute conversations, which I have put in, and I'm also sending clips out there for the shorts so that you can see. And I think that has been one of my great successes so far, with conversation podcasting, where you have a one-on-one conversation. I think I enjoy those right now. I'm trying to move into podcasting as one-on-one, because I feel that when you have these conversations, they tend to be more realistic, and they tend to be more open and and holistic. The reason why I say that is because you're comfortable. The person is right there with you, and it's different when you are doing it online. Yes, the pandemic is was the greatest thing that ever happened, because you could have these conversations back and forth with the people online. However, when you look at it in one-on-ones, where the person's sitting right next to you, there is a sense of communication. The eye-to-eye level of communication is there. it has a different feeling. You get my drift. When you are a podcaster and having done both, you will feel there's something that is that is missing. But I will say this: it is tougher, but it is doable, and I'm moving towards it. And I got a card for Dallas Library. So there's a place here in Dallas. They have space, so you can go in and book a space there, and they have a recording studio, and you can do your recordings over there. I haven't been able to get there, but I have a card, so that also opens me up to be able to use the Dallas Library in downtown Dallas, so I can go and utilize their space. They don't charge; it's free, and you just go do your recordings and you leave there. So I'm looking forward to what's coming up in the next few months when you are when I get to go around. There's a lot of activity going on. Um, Now, the other thing that I also have been looking into is the podcast conventions. Now, normally it was the Podfest, and then after the Podfest Expo, I would go to the Afros and Audio. Well, unfortunately, Afros and Audio have taken a different direction, and Southwest by Southwest. I missed it. I missed it, but I heard that they were having something going on. It's not too far from me. I think I can make it there next year. And then Mark has Empowered Podcasting Conference, which is in North Carolina coming soon. This will be in September, sometime in September or August. So I should be able to get to that, inshallah, God willing. And hopefully I can get to meet the people and, you know, hang out and talk to people. Uh, Generally, when you are a podcaster, that is one of the greatest things to do is meeting people one on one when you have these sessions, and you kind of talk to them, and you have the one-on-one conversations. You have other podcasters that are coming out there. They tell you stuff, you get connections, and you tell each other, hey, let's do something together. And that's why I had that meetup where random people just showed up. I put it up there. Random people showed up, and we sat down, had 5 to 10 minutes. It was supposed to be 5 minute conversations with flashcards in the end. However, it turned out to be 10 minutes. 10 minute conversations. Actually, it was 10 minutes. Let me say 10 minutes conversations. So everybody came in and they got 10 minutes of conversation, and we talked about stuff, what they're doing, and what their podcast is all about. Just that short time, and some of the conversations were very good. And this is what you do when you get around other people. My goal is also to get with the people who are there, who are willing to connect with me, and we have these talks, one on ones, and kind of hang out and have these moments, or recap these moments that we had with um, with our podcasting community, or with our podcasting lives. And I'm happy. I'm happy for what's been going on. So as this quarter ends, I guess this is the first quarter. Um, I think my goals are met. My series are about to start, and their video. Right now, I'm more comfortable. Actually, this is the first one that I've done a solo. Kind of, it's the first one I've done a solo, where I'm talking and just rambling. But I hope it makes sense. And what I can say is, my first quarter has come to an end, but I did achieve my goals. Now, the other thing I'm trying to do is to manifest and make much more better conversations and choices. And it's where, when you record, you are intentional, and you put whatever is out there, or you put whatever is out there to make sense. Now, my podcast has always been a serious podcast where you put in conversations tied to a person, three to five conversations to make it more reasonable and more understandable. So it's not easy, and that's why people might say, "Hey, I want to come to your podcast." I'm like, okay, I have to find an angle. It's not that I don't want you to come to my podcast. I'm trying to look for an angle. Sometimes I'll say, hey, come on, if you have a story, let's bring in the story and let's have a conversation. Now, after I have the conversation with you and have the stories with you, then I'm like, okay, I can fix you here and then package you and put you in a particular space and say, okay, in this particular episode, this series, we're going to talk about maybe birds, okay, or we're going to talk about dogs, or we're going to talk about honey or bees for that matter. So that's how the podcast is. So when I call in for guests, usually there's a purpose for it, and I I am going to say that if you have a story, just get in touch with us via our email, and we will be able to get back with you, and then see where you can fit in, and we can create an episode. Actually, what's funny is sometimes you may come up and have that conversation. With your conversation might be the start to another conversation, and the series might start off with you having started that particular one. So um, feel free. Sambaza Podcast is open for business, and we're taking calls. And if you have a story, like I said, if you have a story and you want us to broadcast it and share it with other people, go ahead. Send us an email, sambazapodcast@gmail.com is our email for now, and you will be able to receive a response, and we can go from there. Mm, anything else? What am I missing? Trying to think. No, I think that's pretty much it that I have for people today. Maybe next time I will have a longer chat where I will sit down and recap what what happened during the week. Maybe we can do that. Recap what's happened during the week, what the show was, recap of the show that had happened, and then we can have a conversation about that. And then I can do a special of what I think is going on this week. Maybe pick up a topic that's not with the podcasting, that's just a general topic about me, just me, the person, and we could hang out. I'm trying to look for interesting things that have happened during the week that I can talk about, and we can share, or I can share some knowledge, or maybe a rant of the week or two, and see how it goes. So probably a 15 minute or 10-minute clip every week. I'll run a test and see how it goes. But as we say, podcasting is all about testing stuff. So you test something new, it works, you continue. If it doesn't work, you pivot to something else. So at this point, I'm just introducing the the new look on Substack, and what I'm hoping for is we will have better conversations, and we'll have a community coming up that we can hang out and chat and have some fun. I'm looking forward to having fun. Not everything is going to be about podcasting. It's just going to be real life conversations where people can come in, hang out, and we talk. I'm looking at Substack as a choice because it's free for now and it is working out great for me. And once I send something out, it goes to all the people who are on the mix, and they are told, hey, there's a show over there. And also you can sign up as a, you can donate for the podcast. That's pretty much it. But for now, our major campaign is to do with the YouTube channel. Can you imagine? I started off in the beginning of the year. I think I had, no, we started off with 120 or 110 followers. Right now we are at 380, and this is in a span of 2 to 3 weeks. Now, I'm not, I have had the options of looking into maybe paying for visibility, right? May, uh, it can work. I've been told that it works, but for now, I am trying to experiment. Like I said, everything is about experimentation. And for all these things I've been doing throughout my podcasting, it always has been an experimenting of something. Even with the challenge, I was intentional about it. I listened to African podcasters. I have made great friends from that. Um, and there's a project that I'm trying to get into with that. So right now I'm trying to see how many people I can reach out to get to the at least 500 or to 1000. Once I get to the 1000, maybe I might change my mind, and maybe at that time I will start putting in some cash for advertising and get some visibility going on. But for now, I think it works when I come and meet you personally and say, "Hey, how are you doing? I have a podcast. This is what I do." I'm reintroducing myself to the people, and I think with that, it helps you as a person. Like if you're looking at yourself as a brand, you're learning how to put yourself out there with people. um, I think that will help me have better conversations of introduction, because sometimes when you walk out to people, this is a funny thing. I used to start off by telling people, "Hey, do you listen to podcasts?" What's the first question? The first answer people will say, "No, I don't." Then I'm stuck. I cannot tell you anything else after that, because that's it. So I've changed it. The thing is, I say, "Hey, are you subscribed to my podcast?" People's like, "No." Then I say, "Hey, this is what we're doing. We're getting subscribers and blah blah blah." And then they ask me, "What is your podcast about?" You see, so the conversation now becomes them trying to figure out, why are you trying to recruit me to subscribe? I tell them, "Hey, this is my podcast. Go ahead and subscribe. You don't have to listen to it, right? You can just subscribe to it, and we're just doing a campaign to get as many people as possible. And after that, we'll see how it goes." However, what I notice is, if you go ahead and put people into the subscription list, one way or the other, it'll pop up. And if you're somebody who watches YouTube, or maybe have YouTube TV, one day you will see something coming up from my feed. And when it shows up from my feed, guess what you're going to do? You're going to look at it. And then you might go, maybe there's an interesting story here. And you go through the stories and check and find something that is useful to you, and say, "Hey, you know what? This is a podcast I'll listen to." And go tell a friend, then the friend tells another friend, and you recruit other people just like that. So if you are somebody who has come around to see my podcast, I'm urging you, pay it forward. Send someone the link. Tell someone, Sambaza Podcast. Just subscribe. That's it. You don't have to listen to the podcast. Not now. I'm not asking you to sit down and listen to the podcast. Maybe in some other time, maybe the next time we may sit down and I will tell you how to listen to podcasts, because I think people look at the podcast as a TV program, but it's on demand. I say it's on demand radio, but that's another story for another day. But in the meantime, if you are subscribed to my podcast, 300 people, if the 300 people just go tell one more person and say, "Hey, subscribe to this guy's podcast. You don't have to listen to it. Just subscribe to it." And then that person goes to another one. That means 600 people will have registered. And if those 600 people tell one other person, we'll be at 1200. Very quick. And so on and so forth. It's just one person. Just tell one person, go ahead, subscribe. And it moves on, keeps it going forward. A stranger. You can just be, you have a conversation with somebody you meet and go like, "Hey, somebody gave me this podcast and say you subscribe to. Here it is." And somebody looks at it and like, "Oh, okay, okay, cool," and they go on, and that's it. So what I'll say is, this is my recap for the week, and maybe next week I'll come back on Tuesday and we'll start some more conversations. I may have something else to talk about, rant of the week, day of the week, or something about the week. So, Wasambazaji, thank you for rocking with me all throughout. We're in our 5th year now. Wow. When I look back, that's a lot. This is when the pandemic started. This week, 5 years ago, and It was somber because that's the time I lost my mom. However, it was the beginning of something else. So whenever I look at the start of the pandemic, it usually has some bittersweet memories. But I am going to say I cherish all the memories that are there. There's a reason for all that to happen the way it did. So with that, this year we're going to celebrate. I'm thinking about celebrating it real big. Now I cannot do it like my friend Conversations with Nicole because she got a dope conversation podcast. You should listen to her podcast. But she had a 10-year anniversary, and I can tell you that was a great anniversary with people, telling, giving out stories and talking about the podcast, and also the people that are out there. And this is what I say: whenever you go out to podcasting conventions, you meet friends, you create friendships. This is a start of many friendships, and people get comfortable. And that's not the only one person. That's the one um, that I see often because we are online on YouTube. But the other podcasters that I met, we still have connections, right? We still have conversations to have. I had one interesting one with Leo Rochelle. I'm going to talk about it when I do her podcast, but it was a deep conversation, and yeah, I learned a lot about some people, and those are the kind of conversations that I want to have going forward. And this is also with Woke by Accident. There have been some great and deep conversations that we've had, and we're going to keep having together. So, with that, with Sambazaji, I am going to say thank you for hanging out with me, and we'll catch up probably um, next week, same time. I'm trying to find if it's going to be Tuesday or Thursday. And if you have any suggestions, just um, leave it in the comments. Let me know what I can do. Maybe I need to change something, or maybe it's a topic that you want us to talk to. And this is not a podcast conversation topic, but I would like the community to come in and we have this conversation, maybe 30 minutes or an hour, whatever it is, whatever you'd like to talk about. We can sit down and talk about it. And yeah, that's what it's all about. I'm trying to be intentional and trying to be with you so that I can hear you and I can be able to talk to you. So with that, Wasambazaji, you all have a wonderful day. And remember, like, subscribe, and share to the Sambaza podcast. Because without you, Sambaza podcast will just be another podcast. But you, as a Sambazaji, or you my people as Wasambazaji, you mean the world to the podcast. Thank you again. And till next time, bye, Wasambazaji.